Policy Red Zone, an analysis of the current situation, focusing on the area considered not at risk where matters are currently changing. There are latent tensions that at any moment can lead to violent conflicts. To give you a dimension to the world, the proposal is to examine a holiday destination status of many Italians, Egypt. All information and data taken into account came from the official website of the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, FDFA, and from the official website of the Farnesina. This essay was written in January 2020 and does not take into account the changes brought about by the SARS-CoV-2 global health emergency. The decision to leave the writing unchanged derives precisely from the fact that being prior to the pandemic, it is interesting to see how the way to divide the world into green, yellow and red zones can then be compared with the current situation. Egypt has always been a very popular destination. The situation in Egypt is currently not the best. Amid political turmoil, riots and terrorist attacks, Egypt has claimed the ranking, reaching the top of that of the most dangerous countries to visit, to the point of the 2015 tourism reacted negative peaks never seen before, transforming historical sites in the real ghost destinations. Even if the number of tourists is slowly increasing, as the Farnesina warns, going to Egypt must be a conscious action because the country is far away from the glories of the moments of tranquility of the past. According to the latest data communicated by the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism in 2018, the growth rate of tourists was plus 65% compared to 2017. Italy was the fourth European country in terms of arrivals after Germany, Ukraine and the United Kingdom. To start decrying Egypt, we will immediately carry out a summary evaluation. In spite of the apparent stabilization of the past years, political disputes and violent protests cannot be excluded. Serious economic and social problems remain unresolved, including high employment and increase in the price of commonly used products. Despite the increase in security measures throughout the country, there is always a risk of terrorist attacks, even in seaside resorts. A state of emergency has been enforced since 2017. Potential targets of attack are both the infrastructure and vehicles of law enforcement agencies and religious minorities, tourist infrastructures, and means of transport. Repeatedly, several attacks were carried out in which tourists have also died or been injured several times. Among the attacks that involved Italian compatriots, we remember how the 25th of January 2016, Giulio Regeni was kidnapped and later killed. This image shows the current situation in which red defines the area at risk of attack and where there are dangerous hazards. Green indicates tourist areas. All this suggests caution, especially in public places such as bus stations, subways, stations and markets, as well as in the vicinity of government buildings, police posts, military installations, places of worship, particularly during Islamic and Christian holidays, and museums or of the other tourist attractions. The most important results that have emerged underline the dangerousness of the areas in the Egyptian borders are labeled them with the red color. The information offered by the Egyptian Federal Department of Foreign Affairs is based on its own sources of information, which are considered to be trustworthy. Dangerous situations are often unpredictable and confusing and can change rapidly. The Farnesina declares that in Egypt, after the political and social upheavals that followed the events of January 2011 and the numerous terrorist episodes in the following years, more recently we are witnessing a progressive improvement in the overall security conditions of the country. However, the particular criticalities remain in some areas, and the general risk of unpredictable attacks throughout the territory. They also remind every compatriot who goes to the country that he must strive for be fully aware of its general context and of the related risk. This is the situation of the country updated to January 2020. However, This information is subject to unpredictable changes over time. To travel in these areas, it is recommended to book the trip shortly in advance of the departure date, always asking for information from the Italian embassy and reporting the dates of presence in the area.